Our school banned tank tops for being too distracting, so the entire football team showed up in spaghetti straps. Our strict dress code banned tank tops, so the entire football team showed up in spaghetti straps. Our school had this rule that if your shoulders showed, you were distracting the boys. But that didn't matter to our principal, Ms. Grant, who ran the school like a courtroom where every girl's outfit was a crime. If a girl's tank top strap was thinner than 3 fingers, she'd send her to the office. If your shorts didn't pass the fingertip test, detention. One time a girl wore a hoodie with a sports bra underneath, and when she took the hoodie off in gym class, Ms. Grant made her call her mom for a change of clothes. By junior year, everyone knew it wasn't about rules, it was about control. She'd let guys stroll through the halls shirtless after practice, but God forbid a girl's collarbone showed. It all started because my friend Riley got dress coded for wearing a black tank top on a 90-degree day. She'd just walked into biology when Ms. Grant pulled her out of class. 10 minutes later, Riley came back with a giant neon orange school sweatshirt that said, "Property of Wilson High Athletics." Everyone laughed because it looked ridiculous, but Riley wasn't laughing. She looked humiliated. That afternoon, she sat with her head down at lunch while everyone talked about it. It wasn't just her. Half the girls had been through the same thing that week. Theo, who was sitting across from me, said, "If they think tank tops are so dangerous, maybe we should all wear them." Everyone laughed at first, but then he grinned and said, "No, I'm serious." The next day, he showed up with a Walmart bag full of tiny tank tops, pink, glittery, lace-trimmed, all kinds. He dumped them on the lunch table like they were trophies. "Friday," he said. "We're all wearing these Friday." By the end of the day, the entire football team was in on it. Friday morning, the halls were dead quiet when the first few guys walked in. Carter, our quarterback, wore a baby blue crop top that said Angel Energy. Behind him was the defensive line, all wearing tank tops from the girls section and short shorts that looked like they came straight out of a middle school sleepover. One of them even had his sister's pink headband on. Everyone just stopped and stared. Ms. Grant stepped out of her office like she'd been waiting for something to go wrong. Her eyes landed on Carter, and her mouth fell open. "What on earth are you wearing?" she said. Carter smiled. "If Riley's shoulders are a dress code violation, so are mine. Are you dress coding me or not?" Her jaw tightened. She opened her mouth like she was about to say something, then closed it again. She looked around at the rest of them, but there were too many. Every direction she turned, another football player was standing there in glitter and spaghetti straps, pretending to check their locker or tie their shoe. The teachers stepped out into the hallway to see what was going on. A few of them turned away so they wouldn't laugh. By second period, the entire school was buzzing. Ms. Grant was pacing the hall like she was about to shut the place down. In history, Theo sat in the front row wearing a tank top that said "Goddess" across the chest in sparkly letters. His shorts barely reached mid-thigh. Mr. Keller tried to keep teaching about World War I, but he kept losing his place in the textbook. By lunch, the cafeteria felt like it was waiting for something big to happen. Every time the door opened, people went quiet, expecting Miss Grant to come in. When she finally did, she didn't even yell at first. She just stood there, holding her clipboard so tight her knuckles turned white. Then she said, "Enough, every single one of you boys in the office. Now." Theo stood up first. "For what rule violation?" he asked. She didn't answer. She just pointed toward the door. But the rest of the football team stood up too. Easton, Malik, Owen, all of them. Chairs scraped the floor as they followed Theo out. The sound echoed through the cafeteria. Nobody moved. Nobody talked. You could hear Ms. Grant's heels clicking behind them as she followed. They were gone for the rest of the day. Nobody knew what was happening in the office. Every teacher was tense, every hallway whispering about it. When the final bell rang, the whole team walked out together. They looked tired, but they were smiling like they knew something we didn't. The following Monday, Ms. Grant called for a mandatory parent meeting in the gym to address the behavioral disruption. Everyone expected chaos, but not this. When the doors opened, half the parents walked in wearing tank tops and shorts so tiny they looked like they were straight from their daughters' closets. The dads strutted in like they'd been waiting their whole lives for this moment. Hairy legs out, knees blinding under the gym lights. Theo's dad even showed up in a glittery top that said "Hot Girl Summer." You could see Ms. Grant trying to keep a straight face while she stood at the podium, surrounded by moms and dads dressed like they were at a pool party. She tried to give her speech about decorum and respect for school policy, but every time she said "dress appropriately," someone in the crowd coughed to hide a laugh. Finally, she gave up halfway through her notes and said they'd be reviewing the policy moving forward. Nobody clapped. Everyone just stood there in silence until Theo's dad raised his hand and said, "So, what's the rule on spaghetti straps for parents?" The gym lost it. The next morning, nobody said anything official, but the rule disappeared from the handbook. And for the rest of the year, not one person got dress coded for showing their shoulders. Ms. Grant didn't even look up from her clipboard when we passed her in the hallway.